about 7A football. We didn't go into detail on Saturday, but we will here because we're live from Opelika. And guess what? The Opelika Bulldogs are making it to the championship game as they took down Auburn rival in a classic, and they'll be taking on Powerhouse Thompson. We'll talk about Carver. We got special guest Ricky Rogers, who is an expert and analyst for the Clingstones. We'll have him on to talk his podcast, joining Georgia Alabama Sports Live, reclassification, and the Carver Tigers. And then Richard, me and you will come back on to end the show talking some Auburn football, what we're going to be doing this week and who we're going to be covering. We also got several basketball games live from LaGrange High School, coming up here in just a little bit. But Big Rich, how was your weekend, man?
So far, so good. It's been great. Happy Thanksgiving to you, by the way. We're here in the Glenn Smith showroom up in Opelika, just getting everything ready for a Thanksgiving break. We do have some events that are happening on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and can't wait to talk about all of it.
Yeah, me either. And by the way, you talk about inventory. Nobody's got more inventory than Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. Check it out right now. They got a pre-approval sale event that's going on. They got tons of cars and trucks for you to take a test drive in. They got awesome staff to make sure you're taken care of. And when you're making an investment like this, it's going to be long-term. You want to know that you're not getting your money taken away from you and taken advantage of. So come to Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. They're one of our first and the OG original presenting sponsor. All right, Central played Thompson in a semifinal classic. Central was down 35-14 late in the fourth. They barge all the way back. They score a touchdown, and they need an extra point to tie it. Pat Nix says, I want to win it. And a two-point conversion was a little dump-off to the running back who got completely obliterated by the linebacker from Thompson. They go on to lose that game, and Thompson back in the championship. I will say this. I have no problem with him going for two. I don't even have a problem with the call, to be honest. I just think Thompson out-executed Central. That's what happens sometimes. When you're down 21 and you see your team make a comeback and your defense, who has struggled all game, finally got a few stops, do you expect that to happen in overtime? I don't. And I think Thompson was the better team for majority of that game. And Pat Nix knew it. And Pat Nix said, I want to try to win right now. So he goes for two, and it didn't work out. I got no problem with the call. For the keyboard warriors and the Facebook coaches out there that say it's the worst call in Central history, I don't think you know what you're talking about. The fact that they're even in that position was because of the great play calling from Pat Nix. So, Richard, I'm okay with it. It just sucks it didn't work out for Central. Thompson back in the state.
I'm okay with it too, but I also would have been okay with them kicking the extra point and going to overtime because you come back from a 35-14 deficit. I liked the way that Central's offense was moving the football on a tired defense for Thompson. And when you get into overtime, it's a coin flip. Now that call, because I kept seeing the call in my head over and over and over again, I didn't like the dump off to the running back, but the Thompson defense, they stepped up when it mattered the most, and they end up winning. I really thought going into this game that the home field advantage at Garrett Harrison Stadium would be a factor for the Central Red Devils. But Thompson is Thompson. They're the dynasty for a reason. 5 out of the last 6 years, they have won a state championship, and they have a quarterback who's won a state title as an 8th grader. He's been playing for the Thompson Warriors for 5 years in Trent Seaburn. So Thompson back in the state title, where they're in the Super 7 in Birmingham, taking on Opelika.
Opelika took down Auburn. Great game by the Opelika Bulldogs. Remember, they lost to Auburn earlier in the year this year and was able to avenge that loss, and they're making it the state championship for the first time in quite some time. I figured you may know, Richard, but Opelika comes in 10-3.
10-3, yeah.
They took down Auburn 31-28. They did lose Auburn earlier in the year, 17-10. And in a game in which two schools at about 15 minutes apart, this town was going crazy.
Yes,
Glenn
sir.
Smith is a supporter for both of them. But Opelika takes down Auburn, and now they're going to have a heroic performance in that state championship to beat the powerhouse in Thompson. But I will never say never with the Opelika Bulldogs. Brian Moore in 2 seasons, you see what he's been able to do in a short amount of time, and now has Opelika back in championship form. They have been kind of quarterback by committee with Cooper and Key. Their top running back, Johnson, has 9 touchdowns and close to 1,000 yards on the year, and they got 2 really good receivers in Van and Washington seniors with 5 and 4 touchdowns respectively. The defense is good. They got a team that if they play their best, they have an opportunity. But I also think Thompson's going to have to give up some things that they're not accustomed to doing for them to be able to beat them, Rich.
Little history on Opelika. And by the way, a big shout out to Van Riggs, who's the voice of the Opelika Bulldogs. I congratulate him right away once Opelika won, because I know that he's excited that he's going to get to call a state championship. But Opelika used to be a 6A school, because I remember they were in Russell County's region, and they were a powerhouse in 6A. They went to 2 championships before as a 6A school. It took some time, but once they went up to 7A, the competition got a little bit tougher. But, there were some lean years. Opelika didn't even make the playoffs. They were on the cusp, because they were in a tough region with Central, Auburn, Enterprise, Dothan. But the fact that Opelika was able to not only get to the playoffs, but make it to the state championship is absolutely fascinating. And you got to give credit to their coach, Eric Moore, who he's, his second or third year as the Opelika head coach.
Yeah.
He's really done a great job with everything as far as the Opelika community, Bulldog Stadium. They truly care about the Opelika Bulldogs, and you're going to see them show up and show out in Birmingham at the Super 7.
Also, other news and notes, Corey Black was just announced, and we talked about this last week at the Columbus Lions press conference, but they just made a news release that he is the official general manager of the Columbus Lions. I cannot wait to see Coach Black, and I think it's pretty awesome. And honestly, he just texted me, if I can find a way, and he's saying he's watching right now with Roger Beck, and by the way, who's the new owner of Columbus Lions.
There you go.
I will tell everyone that we are excited to announce that we are going to bring you all the coverage for the Columbus Lions this year. We've had that partnership for quite some time, Richard. So we want to say thank you to Roger Beck, who is, I think, going to change the mindset that people have about the Lions, the longest running professional organization in our area. Congratulations to Coach Corey Black on taking on this endeavor. I look forward to working with him. Y'all know how much Corey Black means to me.
Yes.
And I think it's pretty freaking cool what he's been able to do for sure. So, all right, give your thoughts real quick.
Okay, so I've known Coach Black for about 3 years now. If there's anything that is his personality and how he's going to fit in the culture of the Columbus Lions, he is a grinder. Those players are going to be at practice at 5 in the morning. He's talked about 1% better, 2% better. What he did as an AD at Pacelli, what he's doing at Emmanuel Scholars. They got sports teams now at Emmanuel Prep.
Even bigger than that, CB Hoops he started, which has helped many thousands of players go on to play at the college level. What he does in the junior college is pretty incredible. What he turned Pacelli, him and Roger, into as one of the powerhouses. I think that he understands his community. He understands what it takes to win. He may not know about arena football, but I promise you right now, he may not know a lot, but I promise you by time the season gets here, Corey Black will know more than anyone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or he'll have a team surrounded with him, people that understand the league, because that's what he does. He knows, he's a CEO. He knows how to put people in place to be successful.
No question.
So we cannot wait for that partnership with the Columbus Lions, and we're excited about that starting in the not-too-distant future.
April 16th is their home game.
And I can't wait to make the call, Richard. Maybe get you in action on some pregame action, maybe some sideline work.
If I'm not calling another game for Georgia Alabama Sports Live, I will try to make it.
He loves the Lions. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got Richard and Ricky Rogers. He's a new guy that has joined our team. He's got a good podcast we're going to talk about, reclassification, Richard, and more on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show. We'll be right back after this.
Are you looking for a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC truck and a great deal? Check them out side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take your choice of new Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks discounted up to $12,000 off. Chevy and GMC heavy-duty trucks discounted up to $7,000 off. People from all over the USA save at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists, for long-distance love, for the far-sighted, nearsighted, for introverts and extroverts, for the thinkers and the doers, for old friends. Coca-Cola, for everyone.
At Jack Houston Memorial Hospital, our focus is you. Even though we performed more than 1,300 joint replacements last year, we treat you like you are our only patient. Your surgeon explains your joint replacement, so nothing is a surprise. Our team knows your treatment plan, and we work together to get you back on your feet again. That's why our hospital is recognized year after year as a leader in patient satisfaction and quality of care. Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. Excellence, always.
GMC here. And welcome back to the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show, live from the showroom at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. And I'm with him. He is the latest member of the Georgia Alabama Sports Live team. Also has a podcast called Stonercast, which is dedicated to Columbus Cleanstones. Please welcome Ricky Rogers.
Man, Richard, I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely.
Drove in, checked out a few of these trucks out here in Glenn Smith's lot. Man, just rows and rows of brand new trucks, 2024s, 2023s, that they're going to be dropping prices here real soon on as we go into the new year. If you're in the market for a car truck, this has got to be at the top of your list. I know I'm hoping next year, mid-year, I'll be ready to look at a new truck, and Glenn Smith's going to be the first stop, that's for sure.
Yeah, no question about it. We are just excited to be in this showroom, and it really now's the time with the holidays. Now's the time to get that new truck or pre-owned vehicle. And they have financing. Jerry Potter and his staff do a fantastic job of getting you ready to be in the vehicle of your choice. All right, Ricky, so you've been with Georgia Alabama Sports Live for a couple months now. You've got some games under your belt, as not only a producer but an on-air talent. But your passion project, which is starting to really take off, is Stonercast. It's a podcast dedicated to the Columbus Cleanstones because it's unique. I mean, we just got the Columbus Cleanstones last year, the minor league baseball team in Columbus, and we haven't really had a podcast completely dedicated not only to the Columbus Cleanstones, but to have like all the top people in the Cleanstones get on board with it, and it's been a huge success. So just talk about how it got started and how's it going so far.
So Stonercast, we follow the Columbus Cleanstones. We analyze, we have player interviews. It's a soapbox for me to stand on. Local sports teams in Columbus, we've got hockey, football, baseball. These teams will not stay around if they don't have support from the community.
Right.
So if you're watching this, look at schedules for the Lions, look at schedules for the River Dragons, for the Clingstones. Find a game to go to. Put your butt in the seat. Enjoy some good local minor league sports.
Yeah, no question about it.
But Stonercast was created just for that, to create engagement, to drive engagement, fan engagement behind the Clingstones. I'm a huge baseball lifer, and I felt like I wanted to help the Clingstones in my own way, and that was to drive more fan engagement. So we started it. We just dropped episode 10, which was a huge milestone for us. Now we're pedal to the metal, and we're looking at episode 20 next. So
I'm excited.
Great guest. We just interviewed Kevin Kilpatrick, center fielder for the Clingstones. The guy's electric. He was a great guest, great interview. He'll be dropping the first episode, first Friday in the new year. But we've had great guests. J.R. Ritchie, Braves number 2 prospect, pitcher that is going far in the Braves organization. So make sure to check it out. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube. Join our social media pages. We've got a Facebook page, an Instagram page, TikTok. We're on all the social media channels, so check us out. We'd love to have you become a part of the audience.
Oh, man, Ricky, I am so excited because the 2026 season is going to be here before you know it. That home opener is actually going to be Easter weekend. It's actually going to be opening day on April the 3rd, April 4th, that weekend. I think they play the Chattanooga Lookouts. I know that you continue getting more episodes out as we get prepared for the 2026 season. What's an episode going to look like once the season starts? Is it going to be more analytics, going through the box score? Like last night, they defeated the Chattanooga Lookouts 5-3. Landon Harper pitched 7 innings, had 12 strikeouts. Is it going to be more focused on getting the box score in?
It's going to become kind of a mixed bag. We're going to have some analysis. We're going to have some player interviews, some coaches interviews. Hopefully, it'll be a kind of a weekly or bi-weekly thing to where we're able to sit down and talk to Coach Cabela or whoever the Braves send to coach the Clingstones this year, and just find out where he's at, where his team's, what his idea of his team's mindset is at that point. As Columbus hopefully makes a push to bring Southern League Championship home to Columbus next season.
And one feature I love about your podcast is that the engagement from the audience. You actually reached out to the audience and said, submit your questions, because, a lot of people have questions. I know that I submitted a question to when you had Jack Johnson on, because I kind of wanted to know, because, I'm from California, he's from California. I just wanted to know what that culture shock was coming from California to the South, even though he's been in the South for a while because he was a part of the Gwinnett Stripers. But yeah, I love the interaction with the fans, and that what are some unique questions that you have had that fans have submitted to you?
So yeah, we are totally fan driven, and we know that. And our podcast is not going to be successful without fans. So we want to keep them invested and involved in each and every episode. We've gotten questions from, what their life was like in high school, what their life was like in their draft moment. We asked Kevin Kilpatrick this week, last meal on earth, what are you eating? That was submitted by a fan. So
Wow.
Shout out to my 205 Bleacher Creature partner, Corey Wilkins, for submitting that one.
Nice.
It runs the gamut, and we don't filter the questions. You ask the question, we're going to pass it on exactly as it's written, to our guest.
All right, Ricky, let's switch gears. Let's talk high school football. You've been a part of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. You've had some key broadcasts as not only a producer, but an on-air talent. You've had the privilege of being on the NFHS network for this playoff run that Carver has. In fact, you're going to be producing this Friday again, Otis Spencer Stadium, Carver taking on Thompson. Talk about what that experience has been like, not only being a producer for Georgia Alabama Sports Live, but also being an on-air talent. And what are some of the things that you've looked forward to so far as being both a producer and on-air talent?
So I've loved every minute being a part of this team at Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I think the mission that Thrift started this company with, of giving young athletes exposure across social media, across YouTube, is a super thing to do. And I think that the athletes deserve it. They work their tails off, and they may only see 100 people in the stands at their games, but knowing Georgia Alabama Sports Live is there, they're knowing that they're being broadcast. So I had a flag football game a few weeks ago with Northside and Shaw, and first thing, a player walks in, she looks at me and she said, "Are you with Georgia Alabama Sports Live?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She
Nice.
said, "Good, we're going to be on." She got on the phone, she sent messages to folks, let them know, hey, you can catch me live tonight. So it's an important mission that we've got to bring the exposure, and we want to bring it to you in the most professional manner that we possibly can. So being a producer, I've been able to do some on-air stuff. I love the production aspect of it. We are looking for producers, so don't
Absolutely.
hesitate to reach out. We'll be happy to set you up and get you trained and let you be a part of this team. So, but as far as games go, Carver, man, I've been a part of their region championship in the rain in Sumter County, sitting next to my man Thrift Behringer and Mike Frost. Have been able to cover both of their playoff rounds, round 1 and round 2, for the NFHS network, which is a national scale platform that kind of does what Georgia Alabama Sports does, but on a national level. They've entrusted the production of these NFHS playoff games to us here at Georgia Alabama Sports. We've been able to cover Glenwood and Carver for NFHS, and man, talk about incredible. Small local team broadcasting for a huge national platform. If you're in California, you can tune in and watch the Carver Tigers play.
Yeah,
And-
it's truly incredible.
Watching Carver the last few weeks, man, an electric team. I love their youth, led by a freshman quarterback Got a freshman running back that is absolutely incredible. Sophomore wide receiver TJ Woodson, who's also a Carver basketball
Yeah,
star.
like 116 yards receiving.
Huge touchdown last Friday night.
Wow.
They caught him over the middle. He juked a guy out of his shoes and walked into the end zone. Zach Watts, man, what can you say? This kid is going places. I know he's no stranger to recruiting because he's got 3 brothers that have all gone on to play.
He might be the biggest recruit in this area
Absolutely.
since Isaiah Crowell.
Absolutely.
I honestly think that he's making an impact as a freshman. Isaiah, when he was a freshman, he didn't play that much. The fact that Zach Watts is playing and making an impact as a freshman.
Right. And Sebastian Hurd, the quarterback, man, freshman, that kid can spin it. He's
Remember,
slinging the
there was
ball
a
down the
question
field.
mark about who's going to be the starting quarterback in the beginning of the year for Carver.
Well,
Sebastian Hurd, he's stepped up and he's carried the load.
That question has been answered.
Oh, yeah,
and
it definitely has.
New coach Jarvis Jones, man, it's incredible to have him back in Columbus after spending time at UGA and then the NFL. He came back to UGA as a coach, and now he's in Columbus coaching at his alma mater.
Yeah.
Which is huge for those kids to see. Hey, Columbus is, it's a place to come back to. And he's serving his community by coaching and mentoring these young men. And man, I could not be happier for the Carver Tiger family. They are partying on the hill.
Oh, absolutely. And, we're going to have that on the NFHS network, courtesy Georgia Alabama Sports Live team. Will be broadcasting on the NFHS network this Friday, 7 o'clock, Otis Spencer Stadium, taking on Thompson. All right, let's switch gears, Ricky, and talk reclassification. Obviously, the reclassification has come out. Some teams appealed. Some of them got denied. We're going to start with Northside because you are the PA announcer for Northside Baseball. How does it feel that the Northside Patriots are going to be a 6A school?
It's a mixed bag of emotions for me. I don't think Northside baseball is going to have a problem competing in that region.
Right.
Northside football is going to struggle some. The other sports, softball, no problem at all competing in that region. Soccer, it's a 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to see from it. I know that, the way the GHSA kind of, everything they take into account to create these redistricting plans or realignment plans is questionable in my book, but we'll take it. I know that the Northside kids are going to show up. They're going to put their best foot forward, their best effort out, and we're just going to hope that the lure of playing in that higher region, playing those bigger schools, may bring some athletes, from the Carvers, from Columbus, from Shaw. Maybe those kids come home to their actual district at Northside and play for the Patriots.
And I do want to say I think this is the first time in Columbus sports history that we've had a 6A school. Northside's going to have to be traveling the furthest because Noonan is the closest. You also have Woodward Academy. You got McIntosh. They're going to be taking on some pretty tough teams in the 6A classification, which means they're no longer a region rival with Harris County. The Harris County Northside, they still play probably during the non-region games.
Oh, yeah.
But it's Harris County and LaGrange now. They're both 5A schools.
Yeah, and the Harris County Northside rivalry has been great over the years, and with the region implications involved, it made it even more important for each team to win that game. Luckily, I think the coaches will still get together in every sport, and they're going to have a non-region contest, I'm sure. But I hate to see that they've broken it up, but Harris County's got LaGrange. They're familiar with Starrs Mill. They're familiar with Whitewater. They're familiar with Central Carroll in the same region with them now.
All right, real quick hitters. We want to talk Shaw, Spencer, Columbus, Hardaway, all in 4A. I was actually, when I was doing the GIAA state championships, I was talking to some of the sports people in Albany because we're going to get familiar with the Albany schools. They're going to have to play Doherty, Westover, Monroe, Cairo, Bainbridge. Once again, even though they got 4 schools and they're going to have these rivalries in their region, still got to travel to the Albany area.
Right, and we discussed this on last Friday's during last Friday's Carver game. Austin Allen, one of our on-air talent guys, a color analyst, he went to Jordan. He played football at Jordan, and we talked about Cairo, the syrup makers.
The syrup
And he
makers.
said, man, that was the most miserable ride home after getting your tail beat for 3 hours. You got to get on a school bus and you got to drive home. I think the buses are a little more comfortable for these kids these days than they were back in our day. But, you know, Austin, he remembers it vividly. K-Row would just thump them every time the Jordan Red Jackets walked on the field. So, you know, I hate that for Shaw, for Spencer, for Columbus. K-Row, there's a huge, rich tradition there. And they've got to go down and play them to get a spot in the region playoffs.
And finally, one more before we go to break. Carver, Kendrick, and Jordan all in 2A, in the 3A classification now. There's no more 2A. They've remained in 2A because they did away with the 1A Division 2, 1A Division 1. It's now 1A and 2A. So they are in 3A with Jordan and Kendrick. Also Worth County, Crisp County, Sumter County, Cook. They're going to have a pretty interesting region, but I think that we've talked about how Carver can be in any classification, but I think that Jordan and Kendrick are going to struggle a little bit just because they just don't have the resources that Carver has. So what do you think about that classification?
As a diehard Red Jacket, as an alumni of Jordan High School, man, I hate to see Jordan's teams put into this region because I've seen Sumter County, Carver. They're going, you know, Jordan's going to struggle against these teams, and I hate seeing it. They've got to get some resources poured into that program. They've got to get some kids wanting to come to Jordan to make that program better. But, yeah, as a whole, it's going to be, you know, Carver and Sumter County are going to be at the top of the region in football next season. We're going into it knowing that.
I can't wait. Well, Ricky, thanks for being a guest on the show, and we're definitely going to look forward to seeing your work on Georgia Alabama Sports Live and your insight, and we really appreciate you being on the team.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Richard.
All right, that's Ricky Rogers, newest member of Georgia Alabama Sports Live and host of a podcast called Stonercast. All right, we're going to go and take a break. When we come back, we got more Georgia Alabama Sports Live show live from the showroom at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. We'll be right back after this.
Are you looking for a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC truck and a great deal? Check them out side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take your choice of new Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks discounted up to $12,000 off. Chevy and GMC heavy duty trucks discounted up to $7,000 off. People from all over the USA save at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile.
Hello, everybody. This is DJ Jones with the Sports Visions Morning Show for the best in local, regional, and national sports news. Weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
You can find the Sports Visions Morning Show on Facebook, YouTube. Also, you can listen to us on Apple and Spotify by typing in the Sports Visions Morning Show, and download the Sports Visions radio app right now in your app store today.
We are the only live and local sports talk show in East Alabama, West Central Georgia. Sports Visions 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
Whose Coke is this? This is my Coke that I just got caught on there, Richard. As soon as I asked what Coke is this, he's pointing at me. But listen, we are presented by Coke, Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC, and Kinetic Credit Union, also Houston Clinic, Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. You see it. Let's zoom in a little bit, Richard. And you see the man that is right next to me. Proud to announce, it just came out a few hours ago, the new general manager of the Columbus Lions that we talked about at the press conference last week. There's a news release out now. Coach Corey Black. Coach, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me through.
Coach, I said this when I introduced you, but now we actually get to talk and do some one-on-one, which we used to do all the time when you were at Pacelli, and then last year you did interviews about basketball. Obviously, you were our color commentator, which I hope you get to still do this year. But why? Why the heck are you taking on this endeavor? You have CB Hoops you're successful at. You got Emmanuel Prep. You're still helping people get on to the next level. You're still a big part of what we do, Georgia Alabama Sports Live basketball coverage. You needed something else on your plate.
Yeah.
Why'd you take it over, man?
Yeah, just another thing to do, I guess. Roger Beck asked me, if I would help him do it, and I told him, yeah, let's do it, and let's see what happened with it. And it's a good thing. It's football, man. It's indoor football, another entertainment. In Columbus, Georgia, it's fun. When I look at it, it's something fun to do.
Right.
I need something else fun to do. So let's do the Columbus Lions and see what happens.
Let's talk about the Lions for a second. This is an organization that has won in years past. Obviously, it's the longest-standing organization we have in our area, Coach. But over the last couple of years, obviously, with the new ownership group, they've been kind of staying above water, trying to. What is the biggest mindset now with the new owner, Roger Beck, who's your good friend, and you, first thing, when trying to take over this Lions endeavor?
Just trying to figure out where we're at as an organization, where we need to go, cleaning everything up from years past so we can go in with a fresh start this year. That's been our main thing here, just being in discovery mode.
Right.
Seeing what we need to clean up, what we need to make better, and hiring a couple key people on staff to make everything roll.
I said that literally about 30 minutes ago, Coach. I said, you may not be the the guy that knows everything, and you'll be the first to admit things you don't understand, but you're going to make sure you put people in place, and that's what a great CEO does. You're not trying to do this by yourself, Coach. You want to put a good team in place. But you got to talk about Roger, a guy that's been your best friend. Is there any way possible you would have taken on this if it wasn't Roger Beck owning this team?
Oh, no. Zero. And that's the only reason I'm doing it, because of Roger. Kind of like he said, for him, the only reason
he's doing it because of you.
Me. But, yeah, no, not at all. I probably just would have went to a game and checked it out and went on home. But no, with Roger, let's go. Because I know he's going to go all in. I know he's going to do it at a high level. I know we're going to have all the resources we need to be successful as an organization.
Let's talk about Damian Daniels. How important is he to the new era of this Columbus Lions?
Well, very, very important. That gives you a great start. I hate to be in this position with a new coach,
right.
Just being honest with you. But when you got somebody like Damian that knows the city, knows the area, he is Columbus Lions. His name is up there in the Raptors, so that gives you a great start, name recognition. I'm excited about how because Damian knows indoor football. He's passionate about it. He knows the Columbus Lions. He knows all the ins and outs. He done seen the highs. He done seen the lows. He know what we need to have to be able to get back to the highs. So I'm excited about him being here.
All right, Coach, talk about the new team that is coming along and talk about putting those people in place, whether if you've done it already, if you're looking for potential people, this is your cry to the community that those that want to be involved in the Lions now, you're always looking for people with passion and energy. What do they need to do?
Are you talking about roster-wise?
Not roster, front office,
yeah.
more staff, volunteers, whatever it may be.
Yeah, just reach out to us on info@columbuslions.net. If you're interested, you can go online, especially looking for internships, really good intern organization. But we're looking for the best of the best. People that's passionate, people that ain't looking for a check. People that's passionate, people that needs experience to get to the next level. And that's what we're looking for.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the call you gave me a few months ago about this potentially happening, man. And I'm glad that I was able to cover the Lions the last couple of years, but I've told you over and over again, I feel like if the right people in place with the right ownership and the right resources, and I will say, and I'm not taking anything away from the previous ownership group, but it's something different when you have someone local. And you even heard that from the previous owner, Richard Mazzia. He said that. He's like, listen, I can't be here all the time. And for this to work, you got to have someone that lives here on a full-time basis. How important is that, having you and Roger, boots on the ground here nonstop? And I'll say it from the outside looking in, I think there's no way this doesn't work. But do you think that's important that you have a group of people that understand this area better than anyone?
Yeah, at this point where the organization is, yes, it needs to be somebody local, somebody boots on the ground, people that got relationships in the community. Because
Right.
You're going to need this community. You're going to need those
Major
relationships.
sport.
To get it to where it needs to go, you're going to need those relationships to make it work.
How important is your relationship with the Clingstones and potentially the River Dragons, knowing that their seasons literally go on the same time you do? I mean, y'all all competing for eyes, but in the end, everybody's supporting Columbus local. How do you work with them, Coach?
Oh, great. Great question. The River Dragons, Jeff Group, been really good. We done had many conversations with him.
Awesome.
Been met with him. We done hung out with him like River Dragon's great. We still got to get with the Clean Stones. You know, that's Atlanta Braves and all that stuff. But we'll get to it. But it's really important for us to all, you know, be on the same sheet of music because, you know, we all are minor league pro teams here in Columbus, Georgia. You know, and we all can win. We all can be successful. You got people that want to go watch baseball, go. You got people want to watch football, go. People want to go watch hockey, go. You can do all three. You know, that's the beauty of our city and our location. I think it makes it great that we'll be able to do all of it right there at the Civic Center and at Synovus Park.
Winning has not been really a problem the last couple of years, Coach. Lions have won. Now, championships, they got a few. But again, this is not a bad organization. So the winning part on the field, you think Damien's got it handled. The big thing that I think you and Roger are really emphasizing on is getting the community involved more and making sure it is now fun to go to a Lions game. That's the go-to spot on a Friday or Saturday night. How important is that message and getting that out there that, hey, it's cool to be a Lions fan?
Yeah, and that's the thing right there. For people to believe in that, they need you to see you. They need to see you in the community. They need to see you. And they need to hear from you. Right. And then once they hear from you, they'll remember you. And then when it's time for a game, they'll be like, oh, let's go to the Lions game. Then when they go to the Lions game, they have a lot of fun. They'll be like, well, let's go to the next Lions game. They have fun there, and it's really good, entertaining. And we'll go to the next Lions game. And they just keep trickling. But, yeah, that's the thing, man. It's about putting butts in the seat and a really fun environment. Right. That's the key. You got to be fun. Right. If it ain't fun, ain't nobody going. And I feel like we have a product that's going to be fun and exciting for people that want to come out.
There are local businesses that are potentially interested in partnering with the Lions like they do with the other professional organizations. How do they go about contacting Coach?
They can get on, email us at info@columbuslions.net, send us an email, call us at 1-800-GO-LINES. 1-833-GO-LINES is our number, so that's easy to remember. 1-833-GO-LINES is our number. That's it. You know, we're looking for support. We're here. It's not just a one-way street, it's a two-way street. We want to help you. Y'all help us. Let's figure it out for the best of our community.
All right, Coach, before we move on, put on your basketball hat right now. Okay. Season just got underway. And some of the key players, Champ Simpson, Makai Williams. I want to start with them two first. Those two guys you've known for a long time. They both played underneath you. Both those guys are signing D1 level scholarships. There's only like 40 or 50, I saw you made your post, of players, all classifications, not just GIAA, not just GHSA, all classifications in Georgia signing D1, and we got two of them in our area. How cool is that,
Two
man?
out of 33.
Unbelievable,
33 kids
I gave
in the
too many.
entire state of Georgia that signed Division I, so that's 0.003 chance of even playing Division I, and that don't even include how tall you are. You know, Makai 6'5", Champ was what, 6'1", 6'2"?
Yep.
That percentage is even smaller when you talk about their sizes, but that's impressive in our community. Need to embrace that. Go out, watch those teams play, watch those players play, because it's not every year we just signing two Division I basketball players in our area. So proud of those guys to see them where they started with me to where they at now. Just proud of them.
Coach, how do you feel like, again, it's early. Obviously, we've had some slow starts. Heck, we've had two teams, the top two teams in our, I think, boys-wise, Pacelli and Carver, they don't even play till late December. Yeah. So we haven't got to see a lot, but I feel like boys basketball is starting to make a little bit of a comeback. We've seen a little bit, and I'm not talking about team-wise. You know, Pacelli obviously has won championships. We've seen Carver make deep runs, but talking about collectively as a whole, where all 15, 16 schools can be at least competitive this year. I feel like we're in a better position. How do you feel after seeing Fall League?
Yeah, I like Russell County team. You know, I think they got a chance to get in the state tournament. Chattahoochee County, I'm just telling you, sleeping if things go right.
Do they have a chance to win it all,
Coach?
They
have a chance. They have a chance. They really do. You're not going to find a backcourt like that again. There's no other player in division in their classification that signed Division I, so they are arguably the best player in their classification
in the state.
In the state, so in their classification, you got the best.
Great
player.
point, Coach.
You have a chance to win it all. So be careful, Chatco. I expect them to be at the game in the state championship.
And that's not again. We're not even talking about Pacelli and Carver. That's what I'm saying. 5, 6 schools that we think can be very competitive. Coach, we look forward to having you on all season for basketball. Look forward to our partnership and bringing everything Lions related and getting all the news and notes out there. And congratulations on this new endeavor. You know I love you, brother. Looking forward to the future of the Lions and excited about what you and Roger have in store for this community.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got more here from Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. We have Mike Peacock just pull up. I don't know where we get these guys. Corey's pulling up. Mike's pulling up. I appreciate the team. Richard and Mike are going to talk here in just a moment. He'll be on the call for that Carver game this Friday night on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Georgia Alabama Sports Live wants to say thank you to Zaxby's for their continued partnership with us for over the last couple of years since we started this. Your partnership has meant the world for us to give you premier coverage for all the local sporting events around the Chattahoochee Valley area. And specifically, I want to thank Judson Humphreys, my good friend, and the Phoenix City location, being with us from the very beginning, man.
Absolutely. Well, we just appreciate what y'all do in the community for these student athletes, and we just want to be a part of it.
Whether it's tailgating, parties, or you just want a quick bite to eat, come to the Phoenix City Zaxby's location and tell them Georgia Alabama Sports Live and Thrift sent you. Thank you again to Judson Humphreys and Zaxby's for our continued partnership on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. What's up, everyone? Thrift Behringer here with Masterwall CEO C. Smithwick. They're one of our first sponsors. We didn't even know what sponsors were 4 years ago when I was doing this off my phone. Thank you so much, C, for your support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Oh, it's something that was needed for so long in the Valley, and me with my history of being a coach and all. Love to support it. You do a great job with that. Even when you were doing it on your phone, it was great.
I appreciate it, man. And again, we wouldn't be able to cover the 50 different high schools and all the different sports without Masterwall and different businesses like yourself. But you're also a coach and now a award-winning author. We have Believer, Bulldog, and Coach. You can get on Amazon right now. You were the winningest basketball coach in Calvary history. What was the mindset behind writing this book?
Well, it's, I kind of treated it as a ministry, and I treat our business as a ministry. Loved what I did as a coach, working with those young guys and trying to set an example and point them in the right direction, and kind of do the same thing with business. So, you got to build it with a lot of good people around you, the right support group, and once again, I call it a ministry because that's the way I see it.
You can get this award-winning book right now on Amazon, and it's going to tell the whole story of C. Smithwick from being an award-winning coach and a Hall of Famer and having the court named after him and then building this incredible business. I can't wait to dive into it, Coach.
Good. Hope you enjoy it. It's about never giving up. So that's what a coach needs to know. It's what an entrepreneur needs to know.
The name of it is Believer, Bulldog Coach, right now on Amazon. And thank you again to C. Smithwick and Maxwell for their support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Thanks for having me.
Back to the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show, live from the showroom at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. And man, we just got people making all the stops. And just pulling up is Mike Peacock, one of the voices of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Great having. This has been a big surprise. Thank you for joining us on the show.
It's kind of look what the cat drug in. I was driving on my way to Opelika for my regular job and saw the link pop up that you were live at Glenn Smith, clicked on the show, saw you talking to Ricky, and I said, well, hey, I'll just stop by for a minute and say hello to the guys while they're here. And lo and behold, I'm actually going to get to talk to them.
Yeah, and we ended up throwing you on the show. I think this is awesome. All right, let's talk Carver.
Mm-hmm.
You've been on the call for this Carver playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be on the call once again this Friday. They are taking on Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about what your impression has been about this Carver team, and can they go back-to-back as far as winning a state championship in the 2A classification?
Well, at the moment, Richard, it's going to take a lot to beat this Carver team. I know Thompson's probably got a good football team, but it's going to take their A game to beat this Carver team. Carver is so deep, and they're not deep necessarily with senior experienced players. They've got a freshman quarterback. They've got a freshman running back that's number 2 or number 3 on the depth chart that comes in and is phenomenal when he's in there. And they've got a core of receivers. They've got a great defense. They're strong across the board. They're well coached. Man, they have just put on a show the last 2 playoff games.
Yeah, it's really been an incredible playoff run for all of our area teams here. LaGrange is still in it. They're taking on Stevenson. They're in the quarterfinals. How about the Lynette Panthers?
How about it?
Coach Clifford Story coming back as the AD. And here's a name of a coach that you want to get familiar with. R.J. McDonald getting Lynette to the semifinals where they will face Reeltown. Reeltown is actually not far from here.
Right.
And so Lynette, who won state titles in 17 and 19 under Coach Clifford Story. I think Coach Clifford Story coming back as the athletic director has made an impact, and we have seen Lynette try to make a deep run and could possibly win a state championship this year.
And how would Clifford Story not make an impact?
There's no question about it.
Legendary around Lynette, but you know, Lynette started slow this year, and everybody wondered, are they a good team? Are they not a good team? But they have put on a run, and they have started playing exceptionally well. And it's great to see, and this will be a great matchup. Coach Matt Johnson over at Reeltown, good friend of mine. You know, they were in the state championship game. Was it last year?
It was like, yeah, they won the state championship a couple years ago.
Yeah, they did. They won a couple years ago, and I think we're in the finals again last year. And but he's done a tremendous job at Reeltown with those guys, and here they are again, you know, advancing through the playoffs. This will be a big matchup. A lot of eyes will be on this in 2A football.
Yeah, a couple more, because you are like the expert when it comes to Alabama high school football. A school that you coached at, Benjamin Russell, also in the semifinals. I wanted to send that out as well.
They are having a tremendous year, and they've got some tremendous talent on that team. And I love Brett Pritchard and Randy Lee, their play-by-play guys that do their radio. They're also the AHSAA radio network guys. And you may have met them before, but that team is going to take a monumental effort from Benjamin Russell on Friday night, facing a Saraland team.
Saraland, the dominant,
just been
dominant powerhouse.
Tremendous the last few years, and they've been dominant in the playoffs. I mean, they beat Pike Road like a drum Friday night.
Ryan Williams should still be playing for him.
That's true.
That's how dominant they are.
That's true. But it's going to be a tall task for Benjamin Russell. If anybody can pull it off, this team can. But, But you know, Saraland's a quality team, and they're playing at home. It's going to be a tough task for Benjamin Russell.
Well, of course, Mike, we are here in Opelika. We've got to talk about the Opelika Bulldogs.
How can you not?
Making it to the state championship. First of all, beating Auburn 31-28 in the 101st meeting at Sanford State, at Sanford Duck Stadium.
You know, it's amazing run by Opelika. First, they shocked the world by going up to Hewitt-Trussville in the first round and winning on the road at Hewitt-Trussville.
Huge win.
A very good Hewitt-Trussville team. And then, you know, they worked their way to the semifinal game with the backyard brawl matchup again with Auburn. And, you know, I don't know how many thousand people were there Friday night, and I don't know how many other thousand people were watching. But what a tremendous game.
All right, Mike, I do want to close with this before we close the show. What was your opinion on the decision for Coach Patrick Nix to go for 2 against Thompson? In that situation, Central was down 35-14. They scored a touchdown to trail 35-34. You could have kicked it, and it could have just continued going on in overtime. But Coach Patrick Nix made the gutsy call to go for 2 to try to beat Thompson right there in regulation. What was your opinion on that?
It is gutsy. It is tremendously gutsy, and Patrick's got to live with that from now on.
Yeah.
Usually, for me, the rule always was when I was coaching and the guys I coached with, if you're at home, you keep the game going. If you're on the road, you go for the win. And, you know, playing at home, I think you would have had an advantage if it goes into overtime.
Yes.
And I probably would have kicked it just to make sure the game was prolonged and it kept going. But he felt like he had a play. And, you know, maybe there was a little mistake on the play. Maybe the receiver should have gotten into the end zone before he made his cut. But, you know, whatever the case may be, he wanted the win. He went for the win. It didn't work out. Thompson's going to the state championship game, and Coach Nix is gonna live with that, and he's going to own it. It was his decision. He's going to own it, and it is what it is now. But, boy, it was a gutsy call.
Mike, I always enjoy talking sports with you. I always enjoy calling games with you. Thank you so much for stopping by the Glenn Smith showroom to be on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live
Just
show.
happened to be coming by.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live. It's Mike Peacock, everybody, from Georgia Alabama Sports Live. He's going to be on the call for Carver Thompson on the NFHS Network this Friday. We had such a great show. For Thrip Behringer, Ricky Rogers, Mike Peacock, Coach Corey Black, I'm Richard Holdridge signing off. Thank you for watching the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show, live from the showroom at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. Hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you next time.